Om everyone. I welcome all of you to today's Gita class. In this session, we will be covering Shloka 10.10 and Shloka 10.11 from the Bhagavad Gita. Here is Shloka 10.10. I request all of you to please close your palms, join your hands, close your eyes, and chant after me with Snigdha. Uh, Snigdha, will you repeat after me?
Yeah, Manu.
तेषां सततयुक्तानां
तेषां सततयुक्तानां
भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं
भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं
ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं
ददामि बुद्धियोगं ताम्
येन माम् उपयान्ति ते.
येन मामुपयान्ति ते.
Thank you, Snigdha. Shreyas, could you please read the meaning?
The meaning to those whose minds are always united with me in loving devotion, I give the divine knowledge by which they can attain me.
Thank you, Shreyas. Anya, could you please chant after me? तेषाम्
तेषाम्
इवानुकम्पार्थम्
इवानुकम्पार्थम्
अहम् अज्ञानजम्
अहम् अज्ञानजम्
तमः
तमः
नाशयाम्यात्मा
नाशयाम्यात्मा
भावस्तो
भावस्तो
ज्ञानदीपेन
ज्ञानदीपेन
भास्वत.
भास्वत.
Thank you, Anya. Mrinal, could you please read the meaning?
Out of compassion for them, I, who dwell within their hearts, destroy the darkness born of ignorance with the luminous lamp of knowledge.
Thank you so much, Mrinal, and thank you, everyone. Let us now contemplate the meaning of the two shlokas. To do that, there's a task I have for all of you. Today, I will not be explaining the shloka, but then you yourselves will solve four puzzles to find the meaning of the shloka. So, the session is four puzzles and one mystery. So, if you solve all of these different puzzles, there is something magical that's going to happen. You either get the superpower to be able to understand the shloka, or you get some super amazing knowledge that you can apply. So we'll see what is in store for all of us. Here's puzzle 1. Puzzle 1 is titled A Story and a Question. So the story is of a little boy, Manish. So what how different is this boy? Is he like all of us? Let's find out. So who is this boy first of all? He is, like I said, a little boy, let's say around 11 years. So he studies in a really nice school and he is also very happy. So, why is he really happy today? It's because they got their math score today and Manish topped his class. So, he's very happy and he's also very proud of himself that, yay, I am the topper. I scored the highest marks in my class. He sees one of his classmates. He looks at his paper. He's gotten comparatively lower marks. So what Manish does is he goes to that classmate. He tells him, "Hey, look at you! You're such a failure. You scored so less. This test was so easy, and look at me. I almost scored an out of out, and I'm the topper. How can anybody score so less in the math test that was so easy?" He tells this and he walks out. He looks at someone outside the classroom riding a bicycle. And now he really wants a bicycle. So he goes home and he tells his parents, "Please buy me a cycle. See, I also topped my math test." So they take him to a very nice big showroom, and then they show him, see, all of these are the new latest cycles. And Manish says, I want this cycle, this red colored cycle. And then they buy Manish that red colored cycle. And Manish gets that cycle to school the next day. And he wants to tell all of his friends and classmates, look at my new red cycle. But before he does that, he sees that his friend got a blue cycle. But that cycle was a gear cycle. Now Manish is really jealous. He's also very sad that he couldn't show his cycle. And because his cycle was better, he's very jealous and he plans something. When everyone goes for the PT period, that's the games period, when all of them are playing, what Manish does is he steals that gear cycle and he takes that home. The next day, somehow the person who had that cycle, he comes to know that Manish also got a similar blue gear cycle. So he asks Manish, hey Manish, did you buy a new bicycle? Actually, did you buy two cycles? You have a red one and a blue one. Manish gets really angry. How can you question me? Who am I? Am I your student or am I someone, am I your friend even that you can question me? How dare you question me? I have so many cycles. Yes, I can buy two cycles. Dare you question me? So this is everything that happened in 2 days of Manish's life. Now, first of all, tell me, do you think Manish is a good boy or a bad boy? Okay, yes, Snigdha. Is he a good person or a bad person?
He's a bad person.
Okay. So, if you all agree that Manish is a very bad person, you can show me a thumbs up. If not, show me a. Okay. Grihit, you think he's a good boy or a good person? No. Okay, so we all agree that this boy Manish is a really bad person. But now, to all of you who either did this or did this, either say he's a good boy or a bad boy, I want you to tell me why you think he's a bad person. So your answers can repeat. Also, it should be a one-word answer. So you can say, Manish is bad. So that's something you think in your head. You say it's because he was sad. So sad is one word. So you got to tell me just one word. Answer the question in one word. Now that's the biggest challenge. Yes, Anya.
Ma'am, he was ungrateful and he was jealous of everyone.
Jealous and ungrateful. Okay. I'm gonna write it down. Jealous and ungrateful. This is what Anya thinks. Okay. Yes, Vivan. Yes, Vivan.
Very, very, like, I want this, I want that. Like,
So,
almost
what is it called? Can you think of one word to describe I want that or I want this?
greedy.
Greedy. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. And who's next? Yes, Snigdha.
He has too much pride of himself.
Right. Very nice. Yes, Shreyas.
I had the same answers, jealous and greed.
Jealous and greed. Very nice. Yes, Akshat.
Jealousy and wandering mind.
Wandering mind. So why do you say it's a wandering mind?
Because whatever he looks at, he likes it, he wants it.
Can I call it desire?
Yeah, reason for everything.
Desire for everything. Okay, desire. Yes, Grihit.
He was not thankful what he had already.
Very nice. So ungrateful. Very nice. Or not not thanking. Very nice. Yes, Sohan. One word. We can't hear you. Think need to unmute.
Jealous, or told, I am not able to pronounce that word. Ungrateful,
Hmm?
and not thankful and angry.
Very nice. Very nice. Excellent. So, first of all, I clap. I'm really impressed. Very nice answers. So, these are the reasons. I'll just read them out. We said, all of you said jealous, ungrateful, greedy, pride, desire, and yeah, so these are majorly the things that all of you mentioned. So, very nice. Now let's look at what the puzzle is trying to point us to. So here you can see the picture. I'm sure all of you have seen these puzzles where there are two similar looking puzzles or two similar looking pictures, and they tell you to spot the difference. But then I want you to spot the difference in this one picture itself. So there are two people here. One is Krishna and the other one is Kamsa. Can someone tell me what are the differences if you know the story of Krishna and Kamsa? Actually, you can think of any demon in Krishna's life, you can actually substitute and still answer. So, what's the difference between the two people? Yes, Vivan.
The difference is Krishna is good, he is bad.
Okay, very nice.
That's one difference.
That's one difference. Yes, Snigdha.
The other differences are that Kamsa always was very greedy, and he was always jealous on Krishna about some or the other way. So he used to send like lots of demons. And Krishna, on the other hand, even though anything used to happen, or even any demon used to happen, that never used to make him angry. Instead, he used to still be calm. He was always calm. He was never jealous of anything. He was never greedy, and he always respected everyone. So that's
Very nice.
one difference. Another
Very
difference.
nice. You also mentioned anger here. Very nice. Yes, Grihit.
So he sent each and every demon to kill Krishna and also to grab him and come to his palace. But then all the demons he sent was failed.
Correct. Very nice. That's the story. But what's the difference between Krishna and Kamsa? Is there any difference?
Yes.
What's the difference?
So always Kamsa used to be like all the time, I can do this, I can do that. But then every time he'll fail.
Okay. Very nice. And
And he's always jealous.
jealous. Okay. Very nice. Thank you very much, Grihit. We'll listen to Mrinal.
The difference between Krishna and Kansa is Kansa used to not follow dharma, and he used to take advantage of his powers, and he committed a lot of wrong deeds in his life.
Very
So I
nice.
guess
Yes. Very good. Thank you, Mrinal. Yes, Akshat.
Kamsa was always jealous and Krishna was not jealous.
Very nice. Okay. Great job, everyone, first of all. Now, I want you to understand one thing. First, so I said meet Manish. Can we all agree that we don't know this child? We just met him like a few minutes ago, and then we immediately, based on some information that I gave, you immediately classified him as a good person or a bad person. And we also agree that we all classified Manish as a bad person. And why? You all gave answers like jealous, ungrateful, greedy, he had a lot of pride, he had a lot of desires, and Snigdha also mentioned that he was angry. All of these traits. Now, when I told you to spot the difference between Krishna and Kamsa, many of you told me differences in terms of Kamsa was jealous, Krishna was not. Kamsa was someone who would get angry very often, but Krishna almost never got angry. So these were the differences that you mentioned. Can we now look at the other traits that you all listed? Like, so we got jealous. Second, ungrateful. Yes, Kamsa was very ungrateful. He had everything, but still he wanted more and he was not thankful about it. He just wasn't satisfied. He wanted to kill his own nephew. So he was very ungrateful. He was also greedy because he wanted more and more. he was he also had a lot of pride. I think one of you mentioned it. He had this feeling, I can do this, I can do that, I can do anything. And he also had this feeling of nobody can defeat me. So some pride. He also had a lot of desires, that I want this, I want that. He also had a lot of anger in him. So he would be so angry on that little baby, his own nephew, that he was so angry he wanted to kill that baby, right? So can we say that when you subconsciously or consciously classify a person as a good person or a bad person, you're somewhere looking at these qualities, few of these qualities. And can I say that if the same person who has these set of qualities, if he changes these qualities, if he becomes less angry, if he becomes more grateful, if he is more thankful, if he is more supportive and encouraging when he's talking to someone else, can will you then classify that same person as a good person? Then can I say that no person is really a good person or a bad person, but it's just these traits that probably are good or are bad or harmful and helpful? Can we classify these traits into such categories, like harmful and helpful categories? And also, we all understood that when we say that this person is bad, then it's mostly these harmful qualities or harmful habits that he has. So, do you all understand? Then show me a thumbs up. If not, please do raise your hand and ask me the question. Okay, great. This is about puzzle 1. Here's puzzle 2. This puzzle says find the root. So, what root? In math, you have this root of a number, right? Square root.
Sorry for interrupting, Manya. Looks
Yes.
like Anya has some question.
Yes, Anya.
Ma'am, what does subconsciously mean?
Okay, subconsciously means something that you don't do it very, when you're not very aware, in the sense you don't really think about it a lot, in the sense you don't calculate it in your mind saying this is how it is, but it happens very naturally without you even knowing it. If I am to give you an example, have you, so when you go for shopping or when you go to some market or some shop, when there are so many chocolates placed, do you sometimes go, or do you always or most often pick a particular chocolate or particular type of chocolate? Always? Or generally?
No.
So you choose different kinds of chocolates every time you go?
Yeah.
Okay. Or do you always pick a chocolate and not a juice? Mostly? Because do you?
Well, sometimes I do take juice, but the most, like,
Mostly
what do you say? Mostly, like, I take chocolates.
chocolates. And do you think a lot about it in terms of should I buy a chocolate? Should I buy a juice? Sometimes you just feel like you need to buy a chocolate, and or when you just look at the chocolate, you just go pick it up. You don't really calculate about it, right? So I don't need a juice for this reason. I need a chocolate for this reason. You don't really think about it so much, but you just naturally pick chocolates. Does that happen sometimes?
Yeah, it does. It mostly does not, but sometimes it does to me.
Sometimes it does. So all of those times it probably happened subconsciously because you did not very consciously think about it or contemplate about what you're going to do, and you didn't calculate it as to why not juice, why not biscuit, why not chips, but you just wanted chocolate that day, so you just bought it. So that's probably a little subconscious. uh Vijayji, would you like to add something here?
Yes, ma. So, Anya, if you notice sometimes people for example, when somebody is speaking, they usually, okay, let me, so they have some such speech habits. Have you noticed that? Or sometimes people have some body language habits. So whenever they say something, they may touch their nose. So now I'll tell you. Okay. So now, or sometimes people have a habit of the question I don't know. So when they don't know, simply they're scratching their head or I don't know. Have you noticed such behaviors?
Yeah, but not in my class, in other classes.
You have noticed somewhere, right? Doesn't matter where you have noticed, but you have noticed, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, they are speaking to you, but they are doing all this. For example, if some teacher makes a child or somebody stand up and say, okay, what is the answer for this? If they don't know, they're simply scratching their head. So all these are essentially some kind of behaviors that you can notice, but they're not conscious. They themselves are not really aware that they're doing that they're speaking the way they're speaking, or they are moving their hand the way they're moving. So, for example, right now, are you aware of how exactly your face is? As you're listening to us, are you aware of, are you having a smiling face or a frowning face or a curious face? Are you aware?
Little bit.
Now that when I ask the question, you're looking at it. Okay, am I smiling? Am I frowning? Or am I having a question mark on my face? Right? So you see, all of these are unconscious in the sense that sometimes, when we are doing that, we are not even aware, like how Manyaka said, we are not aware. So such behaviors, such whatever the habit patterns come from the subconscious. It is in the mind that all these are, but when they're being done, the person who is doing them is not aware. So that's what Manyaka means.
Yes, Vijayji, I got it now.
All right.
Thank you,
ma'am.
Vijayji.
Yeah.
So coming back to this puzzle is called find the root. So like we know in math, sometimes you find the square root of this number. And what are the other meaning that you can find out from the word root? There's this root under the ground that a tree has or a plant has. So many different meanings. But what root do I want you to find out in this puzzle? Let's see. So first of all, let me introduce you to some enemies that we have. I'm sure you've all heard of the word enemy. Can someone tell me who an enemy is? Yes. Yes, Nikta. Yes, Nikta.
So an enemy is someone, like in your perspective, or someone who you despise the most, someone who you don't like, someone who you consider who's not a friend, like an opposite of a friend, is known as an enemy.
So so does this enemy help you a lot?
No, you basically despise them.
You despise them, sure, but do they help you?
No, they don't. That's
They're
the
not.
reason we don't like them.
Okay, and if they're not helping you, then are they just neutral or are they causing some kind of a problem?
Maybe not only like helping you, it may be other reasons also why they're your enemies. Not only like not helping.
Very nice. So that's basically what an enemy is really. That's the meaning mostly. So an enemy is someone who's not good for you. They probably are creating problems. They're definitely not helpful. So in Bhagavad Gita, they tell us that there are some enemies that you should be far from. And there are six enemies, not one or two, but six. So many of them that we're supposed to defeat. Like Krishna defeated all of those demons. We're also supposed to defeat all of these enemies. And these enemies have a name. It's called Arishat Varga. So are you all wondering or curious that it's been like 10, 15, 18 years. However old you are, are you now wondering that, oh, I'm so old and I didn't know I have these 6 enemies. Who wants to know these 6 biggest enemies of your life? Very nice. Excellent. But what if I tell you that all of you just recognized all of those enemies? All of these enemies, I'm going to introduce to you one by one. The first enemy is called Kama, which is desire. And all of you mentioned that. Even I think Akshat mentioned that. I want this, I want that. That is what Manish kept doing, right? That is apparently the first enemy, desire. Now, I want you all to think about different examples. Maybe you had some desire. Maybe Manish had that desire to want a cycle. What is the cause? That is the root that we want to find today. The cause. So, why does Manish want the cycle? Who wants to answer? Yes, Anya.
Ma'am, that's because like he wanted a cycle and he was like jealous so that this someone he had a cycle, then I want one. He was like that.
But why does he want a cycle? Rohan, you also raised your hand. Yes, Rohan.
I think he wants a cycle to ride on it. Or...
Ride on it, but why? Sure, he wants to ride on a cycle, but why does he want to ride on a cycle?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Okay, just think about it a little more. Why do we all want to do something? You look at this girl wanting to have ice cream. Why does she want to have ice cream? Yes, Nikta.
It's because that something in you just like tells something in your mind, like just urges you to get that thing, like desire. So
Okay.
something just wants, like in something in you just wants to get it, no
Okay.
matter what
Very
the
nice.
situation is.
Great. So, Snigdha, I have an ice cream for you and a chili for you. What do you want?
The ice cream.
Okay. Now I have a chocolate ice cream for you and a vanilla ice cream for you. Which one do you want?
The chocolate ice cream.
So, why do you want the chocolate ice cream?
Because vanilla is too plain.
Sure, it's plain. Okay, you want chocolate ice cream or butterscotch?
Chocolate.
But butterscotch is not plain. So, why do you want chocolate?
Because I like it, that's why.
You like it. So, what do
I
you
desire.
mean when you say you like something?
It's called a desire, or let's say a
Sure.
liking.
So you like it. So why do you like it? What is that feeling? Why do you like it? Does it make you sad, angry when you get it?
I feel happy when I get it and it tastes very good
So
compared to other
yeah,
fruits.
sure. So can we say that you want something because that makes you happy?
Yeah.
So Manish wanted the cycle because he felt if I get a cycle, I'll be very happy. You picked a chocolate ice cream and not a chili because you felt the chocolate ice cream will make you happy and the chili will not. Similarly, you picked a chocolate ice cream over a vanilla ice cream and over a butterscotch ice cream because you felt the chocolate ice cream will make you more happy than the other options. So, can we say that you want something because you think that makes you happy? Now, I want to ask you another question, Snigdha. Have you ever wanted an ice cream in your life?
Yeah.
And you felt that will make you happy?
Yeah.
Did that make you happy?
Yeah, I did.
Are you still happy because you had that one ice cream?
Yeah.
Do you not need anything else in future because you had that one ice cream and it makes you really happy?
No, I'm not satisfied or anything. It's not like, oh, that's the last ice cream I'm gonna have.
So, can I say that happiness was very short-lived and it was not a permanent happiness? So, in that what I'm trying to say here is that I want all of you to think about the different times in your life where you wanted something because you felt that will make you happy, but then it made you happy only for a few seconds or a few minutes, and then you wanted something else. Today you want an ice cream, tomorrow you want a cycle, then you want a biscuit. But then this list is never ending. And it's also true that even if you get all of this, you will not be happy. You will need something else. But like we've seen, to feel happy, to feel that happiness, you don't really need these things, the materialistic things out there. It's all in you. You are actually already complete. You are already happy. You just need to realize the truth that you are not this body who desires for the ice cream or who desires for the chocolate. You are the subconscious, you are the consciousness. You are the consciousness, and the consciousness doesn't have all of these desires. And the consciousness is happy, the consciousness is complete. So, can we say that to not being able to identify that you are not the body because you think you're the body, and because you're the body, you're the five senses, you feel you want the ice cream. But can I say it's uh, because of this mistake in identifying your true self that desire actually comes up? Do you all agree? Very nice. So we found one root. Yay! The root of desire, the enemy, is to not being able to identify correctly who you truly are. Very nice. Now let's look at the second enemy. Also something you already pointed out to, which is krodha or anger. Now I want you to question think of the moments when you were angry. Why were you angry? Or think of the moments in the story of Manish. Why was he angry? Who wants to answer this? Okay. 1 second. Akshat, you had raised your hand previously. Do you want to answer this question?
Okay, yeah. Manish was angry because one of his he had stole the other person's cycle, and the other guy was asking, "Do you also have another blue cycle?"
But
So,
okay, so sure. Now, can you think about what's the root? Why did he exactly feel angry? So, okay, that's one situation. Can you think of any situation where you got angry?
I got angry recently today only in my school. I got angry when my friend started fighting with me for no reason.
For no reason. Okay, okay, so why, but there should be a reason why you got angry. What is the reason?
No, I don't know. Some people in my class that their hobby is to make fights.
Okay, it's because of the fight that you were angry. But why is it that when you see someone fighting or when someone's picking a fight, why does that make you angry?
Because he's picking on me. Or I would.
But why? So why does it make you angry? So what is picking up on you? What can you name one thing that makes you angry? A specific thing like something that he calls you or anything specific.
Scolding me for no reason. Doing things for no reason.
Scolding you for no reason. So what did he scold you as, if you don't mind sharing?
That's what my classmates, they have gone mad sometimes.
Okay,
They
okay.
pick fights for no
Let's just
reason.
say they called you something or they yelled at you. They also they also scolded you, like you said, they scolded you. Now, why is it that you get angry when someone scolds you? Why are you angry because your friend scolded you?
Because if there is a reason,
It's my mistake. I can change it. If there is no reason, why should he scold me?
Very nice. Very good, Akshat. So you said it's not my mistake. And because it's not my mistake, why should he scold me? So can I say that there is this idea that I did not commit any mistake, and that could be true, but let's just say it's your belief that I did not do any mistake. Now I am innocent, but then someone else scolds me telling it's your mistake or you did this and it's not nice. Now because that clashes with what you think about yourself, you got angry. Do you agree?
Mm,
If not, you can tell me.
yeah, I agree.
You agree. So you said it's not your mistake. So you did not commit any mistake or you are innocent, right? You are innocent.
No, I'm not at all innocent. I
Not-
said I did not commit a mistake.
yeah, so to not commit a mistake or someone who has no fault on his part, let's just say that person is innocent of that of that act. He did not do that. So again, can I say that it's because of this identity that I am innocent and he says I did that mistake. Now there's this clash. Or I am a human being, I'm really smart. The other person called me a donkey. Again, there's a clash in identity. But here, can I say I think of myself as a smart person or I think of myself as an innocent person? Mostly that thinking or that belief about my own self that creates anger. And again, you are not any of those things. You're not the donkey. You're not even this body, this human body. You're actually the consciousness. You are the consciousness. So when you're not this body, when you realize that, you're not affected by any of this, and so there is no anger. So again, here, can we say it's the same root, or it's the same cause? The cause of anger is the same as desire. It is a mistake in identifying who you truly are. Do you agree?
Yeah.
If all of you agree, could you show a thumbs up? Very nice. Now, here's the third enemy, greed. Again, like most of you already mentioned, lobha. So, what's the root cause of greed? Why is it that I have something already and I feel like I need more of it or something else? Who wants to answer what the root of greed is? Rohan, Shreyas, Sanvi, any of you? Yes, Mrinal.
The root for lobha is um, desires or wantings.
Very nice, excellent. So the root of greed is again desire. So I already have something, I want more of some of the same thing, or I want something else. So the root of greed is desire. And also, Mrinal, like we already discussed, what was the root of desire itself? Whoever, this question is open. So what was the root of desire, which was also the same for the root of anger? Yes, Snigdha.
Like usually you like get these emotions because when you're not satisfied with some things or like which doesn't make you happy.
Correct. So that is the root of greed. But my question was, what is the root of desire? Like we got a conclusion that this is the root of desire.
The root of desire is that when you're like I said, when you're like when you're not satisfied with something, you'll like want more and more. So that's mostly it's when you see something which you would like want and like you just keep wanting to get it every single time you see it.
Correct. Very nice. So we saw how you keep wanting something and you think that will give you happiness, but it never really gives you happiness. It's very short-lived. And why is this like this? It's because you can't really find permanent happiness uh, or complete happiness in materialistic objects or something that's outside you. You are already content or happy, but for that you need to realize who you truly are. You need to realize that you're not this body and you're not these five senses, but you are this consciousness only, and that consciousness is already happy. So the problem or the root cause was that you not being aware that you are this consciousness, this mistake in identifying your own self. That was the root of desire. And because the root of greed is desire, the root of this desire, like we just said, was the confusion or the mistake in identifying who you truly are or recognizing who you truly are. So, can I say that the root of greed then is not being able to identify who you truly are? If you understood that, please show me a thumbs up. Very nice. Grihit, do you have a doubt?
No, I have the answer.
Okay. You can answer the next question. So there is this pride. So let's take the example of Manish. So he was very proud, right? Why was he proud? Yes, Rohan.
He thought that there was no one as good as him.
Very nice. So no one as good as him. So can we say he thought of someone or himself as greater than the other person, right?
Yes.
And that's why we're ill-treating that person.
Yeah.
But then, haven't we already realized that in truth, we're all the same, and that nobody is greater or lesser than the other, not only the human beings, but all animals, we are the same consciousness, right? So, can we say that again, the root of pride is to not being able to recognize the true self, but to be identifying yourself with the body? So, can we say that the root of pride again, like the previous enemies, is to not recognize your true self? Can we say that? Very nice. Here's the next enemy, moha or attachment. So like look at this picture. This baby, he has this toy helicopter or aeroplane, and it's broken. Now he's crying because he's attached to the toy. You all probably have that one toy or a book or something that you really love. It can also be a person that you feel you can't live without it or you need it to be happy. Do you all have something like that? Would someone want to share with me what their favorite toy or person is that they feel for this way? Grihit, do you have something like that?
Yeah. He might be addicted to that toy only, which he wants the same toy to play.
Mm.
He wants that toy to get fixed, and then he wants to keep playing with that every time.
And why? So again, can I say it's like that wanting, the desire again, that I want that toy and I want it to always stay with me. I want it to always be mine, this toy. Right? Is that also desire?
Yes.
And like we just saw, the root of desire is to not being able to identify that I am not this body, but I'm this consciousness. So, how, let me just explain a little bit more. So, attachment is again like I need this teddy with me all the time. It makes me feel happy, it makes me feel complete. But as soon as someone snatches this teddy, or here, the toy aeroplane, I feel like something in me has changed, or I feel incomplete, and that makes me very sad. I need it with me to make me feel happy. But only if you realize that you are this consciousness and you're already complete and you don't need anything to make you feel happy or complete because you already are happy and complete, then you will not have to face this enemy. So, coming back, again, we've looked at so many of these enemies, and until now, the root cause is the same, to not being able to identify your own true self. And here is the last enemy, the sixth and the last enemy, Matsarya, which is jealousy. So we again look at Manish's story. So he saw that his friend had a blue gear cycle and that made him jealous. So why do we feel jealous, or why did Manish feel jealous? Sandy, would you like to answer? Or Vivan?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sure, Sandy. So why do we feel jealous? Or why did Manish feel jealous? Why?
So we feel jealous when we feel like sad knowing that we have lesser than the other person, or the other person has a thing which you wanted for a long time but you don't have. So yeah, like that.
And so you feel okay. You feel that the other person has more and you have less. So can I ask you another question, which is more like an example? So there's this doctor who looks at the two reports of two different patients. He sees that this person A has these diseases, like let's say diabetes, cancer, and so many others. And let's say this other person's report is really nice and he's all healthy. So does the doctor get jealous? Oh, this person is so healthy, and see, this person has cancer or diabetes. So
No, like the person who has like diabetes and all will become jealous if he gets to know that the other person is very healthy, because even he wants to be healthy and he doesn't want all these diseases.
very nice. Excellent. So that person is definitely jealous. But let's say you are the doctor who's looking at these two reports. Will you feel jealous? Will you compare both these patients?
I won't feel jealous because I'm a doctor and I will know how to take care of myself.
And also because you are not any of those patients. You are not that person who is very healthy. You're also not that person who has cancer and diabetes. You're just a doctor. Your job is only to treat them, and you don't really care about comparing them because you're not them anyways, and therefore you're not jealous, right?
Yeah.
So again, yeah. Did you want to add something? You don't really feel jealous for that person. Oh, this person has diabetes and that person has good health. Oh, I'm so jealous of this person who has good health. That is because you feel like you're not either of them, or you're this third person, and therefore you don't feel the need to compare. Again, let's take the example of that same patient who has diabetes, and he looks at the other person and he feels jealous. Oh, that person has such good health. But why is this person feeling jealous? Because he thinks, I have this disease. But in truth, does he really have the disease? Who has the disease? Him or his body? So all of these are bodily ailments, right? So his body has that disease and not him. And only because he associates with his body, or he recognizes his body as his true self, he feels jealous, or he feels bad about the things that are happening with his body. But only if he realizes that he's the consciousness, not the body, and definitely not the other person, and he looks at it that way, and he realizes this, when he recognizes all of this, then he's free from jealousy. Again, here, there is one problem only. That is a mistake in recognizing your true self. That is, the person recognized himself as this body. I am the body and I have this disease. I am not healthy. But the truth was, I am the consciousness. This is the body. The body has this disease, or the body has this problem. And only when there is this right identity, he would be able to recognize or not have all of these problems. So now we saw how there are these 6 enemies of ours. And we also saw that the major difference between what we call a good person and a bad person are these major qualities or these main enemies. And we now know that these 8 enemies, you only need to remove them and you will be able to transform, or any person will be able to be a good person or a bad person, or from a bad person to a good person, like we think about in our mind. So it's mostly like all the dust that's covering this table. All of these 6 qualities or enemies are like this dust that you need to wipe out of the table. So that is the main learning that we get, that there are these 6 enemies and we only need to wipe out. So that is about this puzzle. But let's look at how all of this is related. So out of the 4 puzzles, we completed the 2 puzzles. We'll be doing the remaining 2 puzzles in the next session. So does anyone want to quickly summarize and share their understanding in short? Yes, Rohan.
Yeah, I understood that if you get to know who you are, and if you get to know that you are complete and nothing is there to make you happy, you can conquer all the 6 enemies. You can defeat them.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Rohan. Very good. Very nice. Excellent.
Can I tell?
Coming to you, Anya. Just a minute. Yes, Akshat.
There are 6 enemies, and we have to wipe them out of, wiping them out of the table. They are Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Matsalya.
Very good, Akshat. And what was the root cause of all of these enemies?
Desire.
Desire. And what was the root cause of desire?
We see something and we have a desire.
And why do you desire for something?
Maybe we like it.
We like it. It makes you happy. So, like we just discussed, it makes you happy because you feel you're currently not happy, or you need something to make you happy. You need something to make you feel complete. And that is because you associate yourself with this body. But if only you recognize that you're the consciousness which is already complete, which is already very happy, then you will not have all of these desires. So the root is to not correctly identify who you truly are. And that is the only way to defeat all of these 6 enemies, or to conquer all of these, which is to wipe out all the dust. So, very nice, Akshat. Yes, Grihit.
So, never to be greedy and angry or jealous. If we become like that, that may continue in our entire life.
Very nice. Very nice, Grihit. Yes, Mrinal.
You should Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsalya, and Lobha. They are your enemies, and you should try to stay away from them, or you should not follow them.
Okay, very nice. So how do you get rid of them, or how do you keep them away?
You keep them away because of your consciousness.
So if you realize that you are the consciousness, then they are away. Is it?
Yes.
Very nice. Very good. Thank you, Mrinal. Yes, Anya.
Ma'am, I understood all these 6 enemies: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, and Matsarya. They are the ones who are our enemies, not our friends and all things. I mean, they are enemies, but they're not like very real enemies. These people are our these 6 enemies that I just told, they are the real enemies.
Very nice. And how do you get rid of them?
We get rid of them by not thinking of them. Don't follow their destinies. You just make up your own destiny, not follow them.
Very nice. Excellent, Tanya. Very good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Sohan, you want to continue? What is your understanding?
Yes, Ji. My understanding is what I understand from the two verses and the sloka is if it's a bad person, you have to think how is he bad. If it's a good person, how is he good? Example as the first person. He is jealous because he has a cycle, but he wants more. That he is in a less position. Got less marks in the grade. He got high marks. And that is not his parents' mistakes. That is his mistakes wherein he didn't choose a care set. That his parents were proud that he got this much at least, and they also took it. But he chose the gear cycle. That is not the fault of their parents or his parents. That is a fault of himself. Without checking, should not utter anything. We have in my English textbook we have many stories which I actually forgot. This says that think before you act. Whatever you do, think, and then act with the good consequence of your brain saying yes, you can do. No, you should not do.
Wonderful. And according to what was discussed in the class today, what is the root cause of all these 6 enemies that Manyaka was teaching about? What is the root cause of all these 6 enemies, Sohan?
The root cause of all the 6 enemies are Atman, the brain, which is instructing, which is in bad mood or a good mood, wherein it is instructing the total body, wherein it is instructing the total body. That is happening. That is only what it's doing. It is sometimes it's a good, sometimes it's a bad.
All right. So please listen to your friends and see if it brings clarity. All right. Wonderful. So, yes, Sanya.
Can I read the ending videos?
Yeah, let us complete listening to everyone. Yeah, please wait. Snigdha, how about you? What is your understanding?
Jean, I understood about the 6 enemies which we should basically avoid, and I also learned about two kinds of people are classified, like the good people and the bad people. I also learned how do we avoid these 6 enemies, and I also learned about what are they, why are they caused, and how do we prevent it. And yeah, that's what I understood from these two shlokas.
Very nice. Where are these 6 enemies, Snigdha?
They're within us.
Okay. And what is the root cause of them? What causes these 6 enemies?
It's mostly when you're not happy about something or you're not satisfied about something.
And what is the cause? Why one is not happy or one is not satisfied?
That is when.
Okay. So, based on the class, what you heard, for example, why is somebody looking for ice cream?
Because he feels like eating it.
Because the ice cream is going to make that person feel happy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now the question is it the ice cream that is actually making the person happy?
No.
Then what is making the person happy?
Not really anything, because the person, they eat it and then they'll be happy for a bit, and then later again that happiness goes.
So which means that happiness, and also let's say I have 20 ice creams. Will the after the second, third, fourth, will the happiness be same as when you're eating the first ice cream?
Well, obviously, I may be happy for like some time or like some days or something, but then I'll end up not being, again, I'll end up being normal and not happy.
Sure. But my question is, pay attention to the question. Let's say that, I'm continuously giving you ice cream only.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you are someone who's very, very attached to ice creams, and I'm continuously giving you ice cream. Will you feel the same way? Let's say, for example, the first ice cream, you're very happy, of course. Second ice cream, third ice cream, fourth ice cream. I'm continuously giving you ice cream. Will the fifth, sixth, seventh ice cream make you feel the same way?
No.
So then, what can you learn from this example? Is it the ice cream that is making you feel happy?
No, it's not the ice cream.
Then where is happiness?
It's something that we usually get
From
when,
where?
like within ourselves for some.
It must be, right? Because if it was from ice cream, second, third, fourth, fifth ice cream also should have made you as happy as the first one did, correct?
Yeah.
So which means that it is not the ice cream. So if it is not the ice cream, then it must be coming from within you.
Yeah.
From where is it coming within you? Must be already there, correct?
Yeah.
Not knowing that I am the source of happiness, that I am the source of peace, that I am complete, is the real source of the 6 enemies. Does that make sense?
Yes, Ji.
Very nice. Anything else that you learned from today's discussion?
Not really, Ji.
Very nice, Snigdha. Thank you very much. Brunal, would you like to share your viewpoint?
Yes, Ji.
Yes.
The happiness comes from your brain, and it lies within yourself. It doesn't. Happiness is not caused by any desires. It's like happiness is happiness lies within yourself. If you want to be happy, you can always be happy. So today I also learned about the 6 enemies of your brain: Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsalya, Lobha, and Moha.
Very nice. Very nice. Anything else, Mrinal?
That's it, Ji.
Thank you. Vivan, is there something that you would like to share?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I understood that the 7 enemies is within your consciousness when you don't understand it.
Very nice. What else?
And I understood that if you get a ice cream, example, it will only be for some time that will make you happy. The happiness is in yourself, not in the ice cream. But you have to realize the happiness to gain it.
Excellent. Excellent. Very nice, Vivan. Thank you very much. All right. Is there anything more anybody wants to say about today's shloka? All right. Then it was really nice, each one of you. And I also want to thank Manyaka for that wonderful help with teaching all of you. Hari Om.